Have a nice time, students, and we go to learn Himenolepiasis. Uh, what you must know about this disease. Causal agents of Himenolepiasis are two cystodes, or another name of cystodes is tapeworm species. There are Himenolepis nana, or draft tapeworm, and Himenolepis diminuta. It is a red tapeworm. Himenolepis nana in adult is from 15 to 40 millimeters in length, and Himenolepis diminuta is larger, and adult form has from 20 to 60 centimeters in length. Himenolepis diminuta is a cystode of rodents infrequently seen in humans and frequently found in rodents. What about life cycle? Go to life cycle of Himenolepis nana. Eggs of Himenolepis nana are immediately infective when passed with the stool and cannot survive more than 10 days in the external environment. There is embryonated eggs in a stool. When eggs are ingested by an arthropod intermediate host, it is various species of beetles and fleas may serve as intermediate hosts too. They develop into cysticercoids. Second one. Okay. And these cysticercoids can infect humans or rodents upon ingestion and develop into adults in the small intestine. Morphologically identical variant, Himenolepis nana variant fraterna, infect rodents and uses arthropods as intermediate hosts. When eggs are ingested in contaminated food or water or from hands, unwashed hands, and these hands must contain on its surface small parts of feces with eggs. The oncospheres contained in the eggs are released. The oncospheres are always contained in eggs. Oncospheres. Later you will see these oncospheres on photos of eggs. What I'm talking about? Okay, the oncospheres penetrate the intestinal villus and develop into cysticercoid larva. Okay. Upon rupture of the villus, the cysticercoids return to the intestinal lumen, evaginate their scollexes, attach to the intestinal mucosa, and develop into adults that reside in the uh, ileal portion of the small intestine, producing great proclotids. And what's the next? It is a 7. It is a 7, adult worms. Eggs are passed in the stool when released from proclotids, through its genital atrium, or when proclotids disintegrate in the small intestine. All alternate mode of infection consist of internal auto-infection, where the eggs released their hexacanth embryo, which penetrates the villus, continuing the infective cycle without passage through the external environment. The lifespan of adult worms is from 4 to 6 weeks, but internal autoinfection allows the infection to persist for years. It is more danger for child because they it is not usual for kids to wash their hands before eating, for example. Okay, let's go to Himenolepis diminuta. It is not hard life cycle from Himenolepis nana, but you must know this life cycle too. Eggs of Himenolepis diminuta are passed out in the feces too, like Himenolepis nana, of the infected definitive hosts. It is, for example, rodents or human, as you see on the pictures. The mature eggs are ingested by an intermediate host. It is a various arthropod, adults, or larva. And oncospheres are released from the eggs and penetrate the intestinal wall of the host. And inside this wall, intestinal wall, develop into cysticercoid larva. Species from the genus Tribolium are common intermediate host for Himenolepis diminuta. The cysticercoid larva persist throughout the arthropod's morphogenesis to adulthood. Himenolepis diminuta infection is acquired by the mammalian host after ingestion of an intermediate host carrying the cysticercoid larva. Humans can be accidentally infected through the ingestion of insects in pre-cooked cereals or other food items and directly from the environment. It is oral exploring of the environment by children. Yes, children are don't like wash their hands. After ingestion, the tissue of the infected arthropod is digested, releasing the cysticercoid larva in the stoma and small intestine. Scoliosis occurs shortly after the cysticercoid larvae are released. Using the 4 suckers on the scolex, the parasite attached to the small intestine wall. Maturation of the parasite occurs within 20 days, and the adult worms can reach an average of 30 centimeters in length. This parasite is larger than Himenolepis nana, and you will see this in that on photo. I will show you it later. Eggs are released in the small intestine from gravid proclodids that disintegrated after breaking off from the adult worms. And the eggs are expelled to the environment in the mammalian host's feces. Okay, what about clinical presentation? Himenolepis nana and Himenolepis diminuta infections are most often asymptomatic in adults human because there are no so large number of this worm inside our small intestine. Inside a small intestine of children, or when adult human has heavy infection, can cause weakness, headaches, anorexia, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. And when the child is infected by Himenolepis nana or Himenolepis diminuta, it is very dangerous for maturation of the child to adults. Okay, what's the next? The next is geographic distribution. Himenolepis nana is the most common cause of all cystoda infection and is encountered worldwide. Simply, it is cosmopolite. Okay, and diagnosis. Laboratory diagnosis include finding in hosts, in feces of hosts, eggs. First, here on your screens, you can see. I will make it not so large. It is eggs of Himenolepis diminuta. Eggs of Himenolepis diminuta not so large, but all of them are containing oncospheres, and here you can see this oncosphere. This oncosphere, there is, and this is oncospheres, and this is oncosphere, and this is a major of oncospheres inside Himenolepis diminuta's eggs. And this is a magnification for understanding. This 800, 400, and 200x magnification. Okay, Himenolepis nana eggs, the next one, and as you can see, Himenolepis nana and Himenolepis diminuta eggs are there are no just a second. It is not good for laboratory diagnosis. We are not be sure what is the worm, Himenolepis nana or Himenolepis diminuta, by the eggs. And as you can see, eggs of Himenolepis nana contain oncosphere 2. Okay, Himenolepis proclodids. What you can see when you find in feces part of Himenolepis nana and Himenolepis diminuta proclotids or part of their bodies. Himenolepis, as you remember, Himenolepis nana is more is smaller than Himenolepis diminuta. As you can see, this part of body of Himenolepis nana is you can see it in 100x magnification, and this part of strobila of Himenolepis diminuta is in 10x Himenolepis or 10x magnification, excuse me. Okay, for using you can find Himenolepis nana inside microslides only with microscope, but proclotids of Himenolepis diminuta you can find in feces with your eyes. It is not so big, but it is a big worm. Not bigger than, for example, for another worms, flatworms. Okay, although adult Himenolepis nana is look like this, but it is 5x magnification. They are smaller. Yes, they look like that. And this is the scolex of Himenolepis nana. It has 4 suckers, and with help of the suckers this worm can attach to the wall of small intestine. And I'm sorry, but I have no photo of scolex of Himenolepis diminuta, but it is look like a scolex of Himenolepis nana. It doesn't matter for diagnosis. Okay, and it is all for this worm.